Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and this week it is time again to pull another TBR. So today we are going to be pulling my November TBR, which, where has the year gone? In October, I was working very hard to try and catch up on a bunch of the series that I was in the middle of, and I have done a great job of that, if I do say so myself. If you missed it last week, I did post a reading vlog reading a bunch of the series and catching up on these series that I was in the middle of. So I'll link it up in the cards. You can watch that, come back here. But now I don't really know what I'm in the mood for November. I, as always, would love to be continuing more series, but I also just want to have a fun reading month, I think. Reading things that I'm really excited about. Cozy reads, some cute romances, but also really get back to my fantasy genre self. But we're just going to see what the prompt jar has in store for us. As per usual, I'm going to be picking 6 prompts. As always, let's give it a good mix. This one's trying to jump out, so let's go with this one. Has blue on the cover. Okay, I had a few different options that I was running through in my brain, but as soon as I saw this book, I feel like this has to be the pick. I'm going to pick Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. I read Butcher and Blackbird in October, and this just feels like the perfect time of year to be reading these books. So, perfect time of year. It continues a series, just checks all of the boxes, and it'll be a fun, spooky read. Okay, prompt number 2. The jar is really getting low. Oh, I think there's 2 here. Just go with this one. A Colleen Hoover book. I think I have read every Colleen Hoover book that I have on my shelves, and I know that Colleen Hoover is not the most popular author anymore, but I find that her books are very bingeable. Definitely not, I wouldn't consider them like romance, or definitely like psychological, twisted romances. And just because I'm so nosy, I really want to read through her whole backlist. So I have a note of some author backlists that I want to get to. I think some of her books are also on KU, so let's just take a peek and see what books are on KU. I know that all of her books I can get from my library, I'm pretty sure. So, okay, so the ones on KU, we have Reminders of Him, which I have read and own, Layla, which I have read and own, Regretting You, which I have and own. There's Too Late, which is like a psychological thriller or something, I think. And that looks to be everything. I know that at one point Colleen Hoover had a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited, but I find that her books come and go very frequently. So let me just check my library, see what is available to read now I don't have to wait for. There's Heartbones that looks like it's available now. Too Late as well is available now. Never Never, that's the psychological thriller, I believe. Okay, so I guess a lot more of these are actually available. I don't know which one I want to read. I'm thinking Confess by Colleen Hoover. I think this one's about like art and something. I've heard decent things about this one, I think. Confess is also the first one that I have on this backlist list that I made, so I feel like that's just a good one to go with. Okay, prompt number 3. Another one fell out. An ugly cover. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really love the cover of Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I think it's just really creepy with the eyeballs down here, but this has been sitting on my shelf for over a year at this point, I think. And I really want to get back to this and continue this series. Every time I look at it, like, I definitely want to get to it. I want to read it. I just have not been able to pick it up. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I ended up reading The Da Vinci Code first. So this is actually book one. So I have read them a little bit out of order. So I would just really love to read this one and get back on track with the series, and as well to continue reading the books that my mom has on her bookshelf in the other room, because I really want to read all of those at some point and I need to start picking them up. Prompt number 4. Gosh, we got 2 again. A book published this year. Oh. Oh no, I'm second guessing myself. I was gonna pick Daydream, but maybe not. Okay, I have a couple options, and with, oh my god, I have even more options. What do I pick? With me picking my November TBR, obviously we have the majority of the year of new releases to pick from, but also there's a couple books coming out this month that I really want to read. So here are options. We have Daydream by Hannah Grace. I do really want to get to this and read this. I don't want to physically own books for so long. I really just want to get to them and read them, and I bought this just after it came out. I could also read Pucking Sweet, which is the third book in the Jacksonville Rays series that just came out. It might have come out in September, but I've really wanted to get back into that series. I wanted to read that basically as soon as it came out. But those books are also really long, so I haven't had a chance to pick it up just on my own time. I also, the next book in the Serpent and the Wings of Night series is coming out in November, but I do think that it's coming out near the end of the month. So I feel like I might not have quite enough time to read that one. So maybe that's not the best option. And then I also have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider that Emmy Roseanne keeps talking about, that I really want to read. Says that it's like a fantastic fantasy book, and I really want to get to some more fantasies in these colder months. What do I pick? I feel like you guys are all yelling at me to pick whatever book. I wish I could just talk to you live while I'm doing this. I don't think I'm going to pick Daydream. I think I'm between Metal Slinger and Pucking Sweet. I'm going to pick Metal Slinger. I'm so excited about this book, and it's different to the other books that I've picked so far. We have 2 romances of fiction. What does Angels and Demons fall under? Just fictions? Mystery? And so I feel like a fantasy would really round this out. I'm so excited to be able to fit this book on here. Prompt number 5. Set in a different continent. I think everything that I have physically is set in the States, so set in North America. Let's see what I have on my Kindle. I feel like everything that I have downloaded is also set in the States. I could do Binding 13, which is set in Ireland, somewhere in the UK. But those books are so long, and I don't know that I want to put myself through that emotional trauma. I could also do Night of the Goddess. Is this cheating? This is a fantasy that is set in obviously a whole other realm. It's set in Camelot, but they also don't call it Camelot, they call it something else. And this is also the last book in a series that is not the best. So I would really like to finish that series. I think that might be the best bet. So I'm just gonna hijack Emily and my buddy reads for this month and gonna force her to finish that series with me. Okay, last prompt. A 2020 release. 2023? 2022? Really Crave by Tracy Wolff was only released in 2020. Why does that look like a book that was released like 10 years ago? I fully thought that book and that whole series was old. So there's A House in the Cerulean Sea, The Midnight Library, The Atlas Six. There's a couple other Colleen Hoover books that came out in 2020. Oh, Kingdom of the Wicked. I really wanted to get into that series. There's no way that all of these books were released in 2020 because this list also has Blood and Ash book 2. So there's no way. Ooh, okay. I am going in with a wild card with this one. I am going to pick Credence by Penelope Douglas. I read Birthday Girl in September, and you know what? It's 485 pages. Good lord. I've been curious long enough. I'm going to just jump right in. We're just going to have a very unhinged reading month in November. That's just what's going to be. I'm very excited. I was really considering pulling one more prompt, but I think I have some long books on here. Should we do one more? Is that insane? I'm having too much fun. Let's do one more. Please let it be a good one. Title starts with K. Oh, I could have done Night of the Goddess for this one. This might have been a bad idea. Should I get even more unhinged and read Kid by Jessie Hall? Okay, I think I'm finally gonna pick King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is part of the Grishaverse, I think, and I've been meaning to pick this up for a while, honestly. This just seems like a good time. This is also long. This is going to be an interesting TBR. So, for my physical book stack, this is all I have for November. So I'm going to be reading Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver for a book with blue on the cover, Confess by Colleen Hoover for a book by Colleen Hoover, Angels and Demons by Dan Brown for a book with an ugly cover, Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder for a 2024 release, Night of the Goddess by Briar Bolin for a book set in a different continent, Credence by Penelope Douglas for a book published in 2020, and King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo for a book that starts with K. Am I insane? Maybe. But I had so much fun at picking books this time. I don't know why. I definitely didn't do anything different, but I think that we got some great prompts this month. Let me know down below what you are planning on reading for the month. And if you have read any of these books that I am planning on reading, I would love to chat with you. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like so that I know. I really hope that you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.